a big hello from Mumbai, where we are coming to you live today. I'm going to talk about this really unique concept, a wedding that I attended in another city in India, in Bangalore, where foreign tourists had bought tickets to attend it and have a complete experience of what an Indian wedding is like, right down from the music and dancing to the food to all the rituals and customs. And who best to discuss it with but with someone who's in the wedding business, who arranges everything in a wedding, from what do we say, the sari, the shopping of the sari,
The shopping to the venues, makeup, mehndi, and everything in between.
So this is Sana Vora. She runs a startup, a website called The Wedding Brigade, and we're going to be talking to you a lot today about this new concept. So the concept we're talking about is Join My Wedding, and feel free to write into us, comment, and tell us what you think if you've been able to see the video that BBC News has been running today on its TV and on its social media, which is basically about foreign tourists buying tickets to Indian weddings, an extremely new idea. So Indian weddings are an absolutely long, drawn-out affair. The preparations begin much earlier, and it spreads out. There are different occasions, and every occasion has a different dress, a different cuisine, a different set of things that you do. Some occasions are about music and dance, others are about food, and some are about rituals, and some are just about shaking hands and receiving gifts. So Sana, what do you think about this idea? It's a website called joinmywedding.com, and this is what they do.
I mean, it's nothing like anything I have ever heard of before. I think people would honestly have mixed reactions. For someone who's a little bit more private, wants to keep the wedding small, I can see them being a little bit wary about this kind of thing. But for someone who's open to new experiences, both for themselves and for having strangers at your wedding and are happy to open their homes, their families to this, I think it could potentially be a lot of fun.
And we have people commenting already, and someone is saying it's such a bizarre idea. Why would you want strangers at a wedding? And someone is saying, I wouldn't even attend a royal wedding for free. So tell me something. You're in the business of wedding, and we're standing in a sari shop, which is a big part of the business of weddings. You know, clothes. We are very fond of dressing up, and sort of looking the part on different occasions. So tell me, how good is this for the business of weddings?
Honestly, I don't think it would have much impact on the wedding business itself because it's the couples that are reaching out and are getting paid by guests to have these guests attend weddings. But I think it would sort of give Indian couples who haven't had the experience to work or study abroad, don't have very many foreign friends, to get to interact with people who are new to them, learn about cultures that are different from theirs, and also give guests a chance to do the exact same thing.
So I have to say that when I met this couple, their names are Namrata and Nitin, and they had a South Indian wedding. So India, as you know, is a big country, and every part of the country has different traditions and different ways to do everything, eating, dressing up. So obviously, even the way we celebrate our weddings, they were very, very excited about the whole thing, and they felt that if they get the money that these foreign tourists would bring by buying tickets, they would actually make their wedding grander. So, according to them, this would be good for the wedding business, going by what they felt about it. They were also very tense, very worked up about making all the arrangements, because it is quite, it seems a bit simple, because Indian weddings are big occasions and you already have like 500 or even 1,000 people attending, which was the case in their wedding, 1,000 people attending. So you would think that 3-4 more people or 5 more people is not going to be too much, but they were really anxious, to get the foreign tourists in at the venue, make sure that they're fed and they don't feel left out, and they get to know about all the rituals, and they can follow what's happening because none of it is in their language. So tell me something, how have families who come to you to help with their weddings, if they have foreigners as guests, their families and friends, what are their concerns? What do they think the foreigners will expect in an Indian wedding?
Well, I think foreigners tend to expect what they see in movies and which are like huge weddings with like elaborate outfits and grooms riding in on elephants and just a lot
All
of fun.
weddings don't have grooms riding on elephants.
Exactly.
But most weddings do have grooms coming in on a horse, and they have like a little boy. Just step forward a bit.
Sure, a cousin usually.
Yeah, a cousin who sort of sits in front of them on the horse. And the horse is actually fed some gram before as a ritual. But yeah, not all weddings will go that grand. Some
Yeah.
grooms are now very modern and they just prefer to walk or come in a taxi or come in a car. To
But
the
that's
wedding.
typically what people expect, right? People expect sort of the grandest, biggest weddings possible. And I think to a certain extent, when you're hosting foreign guests, you don't want to disappoint. You want to make sure they have a good time. You want to make sure their expectations are met. So people are usually concerned about that to make sure they can really sample the entire experience, that family members take care of them, involve them in activities, and also just safety, making sure they're in a hotel that's safe, that's well located, that they can find their way around, just so that they feel comfortable and ready to participate.
Well, it's interesting that you talk about safety, and obviously it's a big responsibility to have any guest to a wedding, and you'd want to make sure that they're safe and they're well looked after. But one another thing that Namrata and Nitin, the bride and groom, whose wedding I attended in Bangalore, they were concerned about was their own safety,
Their own safety.
Yes, because they said, well, they haven't met the foreign tourists. So the way the website, the Join My Wedding website works is they sell tickets online. So the bride and groom, if they're interested in getting their wedding hosted on the website, would just put out all the details of all the ceremonies and put out an amount they think should be paid for each day and sort of specify where food will be included, where travel will be included, etc. But they don't need foreign tourists. So if you were a foreign tourist, for example, you'd just go on their website and just buy the tickets. And the only time you meet them is at the wedding. So Namrata and Nitin were kind of scared. They even said it, that, what if these tourists just come and spoil our wedding?
I mean, I would hope that the company does some background checks on the tourists before allowing just anyone or everyone to enter the wedding. But I think if they're making that kind of effort across like continents to make it to the wedding, I'm pretty sure most of them would have good intentions to just experience it, enjoy it, and have a good time.
So I must take some interesting comments that are coming in. Angela from Germany is saying, in a country with rich culture, worth seeing and experiencing, yes, I will. So I think that's a yes to, going on to an Indian wedding as a stranger. And then Michael is saying it's a good scam to get others to pay for my wedding. And Bharati is saying nothing beats Indian weddings. And Candice is saying, I didn't want my family at my own wedding, let alone strangers. Well, Indians, I think, are very happy to have lots of people in their wedding.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes, I mean, I'd say probably 30% of people at an Indian wedding are people the bride and the groom have never met. Old college friends of their parents, distant family members, but I think that's just how we do it here.
I think it is about being very warm, because that's another thing I asked Namrata and Nitin, because it seemed that they didn't get so many guests to their wedding. So they weren't earning a lot of money, which is what this portal seems to pitch itself for. So I'd asked them, what is it for you? And they said, well, if it's not the money, in fact, they said it's not the money. Hard to believe, but that's what they said. And they said it's more about the experience, about having foreigners as your guest. And they said their family was also very excited to have some foreigners as their guests. So it is about the experience, which I think is very unique to Indian culture.
Yeah, I think it's a cultural exchange, right? For like people who are coming to these weddings are learning about a new culture in a much more intimate way, not in the same way that a tour guide or something can show you by walking you around to different places. And I think at the same time, Indian families are able to experience another culture, learn about their traditions, learn about how they live their lives. So I think it's mutually beneficial, and I would agree with the couple, honestly. Like, I don't think the cost really would be much more than covering the expenses that the couple is paying for. It's more about just
The
warmth
experience.
and experience and experience.
And when you talk about cost, let me take you guys closer to where we are. We are in a sari shop. So a sari is 6 yards of cloth, which you wrap around yourself. Most brides would do that. And just behind me, you can see these absolutely colorful red outfits. And red and magenta or pink and orange, I mean, these are considered very feminine colors, and these are the ones that are chosen for weddings. So just to sort of talk a little bit more, this kind of a sari is definitely close to what someone could wear on one of the functions of the wedding, still not for the wedding at home. This, of course, is a very casual sari, though it has very intricate work of beads and patchwork with these red flowers. And here, this is a very typical silk pattern, which is very popular in south of India. And then again, this blue is a bit unusual. If we move a little to the right, yeah, this blue is a bit unusual for weddings. They generally stick to this kind of work, which is very intricate brocade. This will definitely make it to a wedding. So a lot of the expense and Sana would add to that, is about clothes. It's about the clothes you buy for yourself to dress up, and it's about the clothes you present.
Right. So the two main expenses are the venue and the food, which is usually massive given the size of the wedding, and jewelry actually. India has one of the most vibrant gold and jewelry markets in the world, but I think clothes follows that pretty strongly, and you're seeing a lot of experimenting now with brides moving away from traditional designs, really working with more modern silhouettes, modern colors. Your brides wearing green and gold and white at their weddings as well.
Also, the blue might actually make it to the wedding.
You never know, it really depends on the bride.
Well, the Bangalore wedding and all the reds and pinks and oranges does.
Okay. And then obviously, you do a lot of gifting during weddings. So typically you'd give your aunts, your cousins, even your best friends a sari or a suit. Now people are kind of giving more modern gifts like little clutches or hair accessories, mount tickers, etc. So there's a lot of gifting of jewelry.
And that is a huge expense. And actually, if you put it, the amount that you earn from the ticket fee might pale in comparison, and like she explained, it's a lot. And just referring to someone who's written attractive fabrics in the background, can we see? You should be happy now. And Bry is saying this is narcissism at its finest. Trying to make money off your wedding? Seriously? No. Well, everyone, each to his own, everyone's got a different opinion. But if you could just move to the right, you'd see that sari shops like these are completely set for trials. So this lady here is also doing some shopping for her wedding. She's been trying out various outfits ever since we came here. Wonder what she thinks about the wedding tickets. I think she's too busy right now to be bothered to answer that. But one more thing that the foreigners, I asked the foreigners when we were almost at the end of the 3-day extravaganza, was what would they do if, now that they've been guests at a wedding, would they want to be hosts on the website and invite people to their wedding? Absolute strangers, people they've never met. Can you guess what they said?
I would hope they said yes, given that they had a great experience, but some people are more open to kind of learning than sort of opening their own family out. So enlighten me, what did they say?
Well, I was slightly taken aback because there were 3 guests we were talking to, and all of them kind of went, no, that's a difficult one. So that kind of gives you an idea what they thought about it. And they said that they would be really concerned about who these people are, because they said we could have been horrible people. So they said that for themselves. We could have been horrible people. We could have come and ruined the wedding. So it's a leap of faith. And the other thing that they said was that Western weddings are really smaller, much smaller in scale in comparison. So maybe 100 people or 50 people even. There were 2 people from Ireland. They said 200 people is a big, massive wedding. In New Zealand, the tourists from New Zealand said 50 people is my family size. I don't think 5 strangers would mingle and mix with 50 the way they can with 1,000 people.
Actually, that's a good point, because usually sort of a wedding abroad is a one-day function, a short ceremony, and then just eating and dancing. But for us, it's so much bigger, so much larger. There's so many more ways. There's more ways that they can blend in different things they can experience, from dance practices to eating, etc. That I think it is probably easier to host 5 people at a 500-person wedding versus a 50-person wedding.
And also, interestingly, they said that Western weddings are boring. I didn't say it, don't judge me for it. They said Western weddings are boring. They're very formal. You sit in on set tables, on set locations, and you have to be quiet. Ideally, you should be quiet in an Indian wedding. But their observation was that Indian weddings are like an absolute opposite, because it's like an explosion of colors. Yeah, well, you have women dressed in those clothes. Of course, it is an explosion of colors. There's lots of light and all these decorations, lovely decorations with flowers, etc. And much more relaxed, which is true. But that's also because I think the rituals are so spread out. So there's some people interested in the rituals out of the 1,000, maybe the close family members, and everyone else is just having a good time. They're eating, dancing, listening to music, just chatting up and commenting on everyone's clothes, I guess. So I think there is a cultural difference that they were trying to point out. But here I'm getting some really interesting comments. Someone is saying, I've always wanted to attend a traditional Indian wedding. Beautiful. That's Micah. Oh, that's Michelle. And then Silvana is saying, why not invite them for free? Most people will give a gift anyway, probably more than $50. That's something to think about. And then Enos is saying, I'm from a Christian background and was blown away the first time I went to a Hindu wedding. A thing of beauty. Well, it is, I think, definitely a thing of beauty. And then Savitri, who might be of Indian origin if I can guess, hazard a guess from her name, says, as far as I'm concerned, wedding is a family affair with your close family and friends, not a tourist attraction. This is totally vulgar to sell tickets for your wedding, a real low down thing to do. Well, like I said, each to their own. Something that it is a great way to make friendships. Nitin actually, the groom at the wedding, said, now I want to be invited back to all their weddings. And lucky he was, because 4 out of the 5 guests that came to his wedding were unmarried. So he does have a real chance of getting invited back and experiencing a different wedding somewhere. So I don't know if you're married, and you don't have to tell me, but
I'm not.
Okay, so would you consider this idea?
I personally wouldn't, but I think that's just because I'm a little bit more private of a person. I would want people I'm close to be at my wedding. And I think also it's the fact that I've studied abroad, I have a lot of foreign friends, I worked abroad before I moved here, so there's less of a cultural exchange. You know, it's not that I don't have friends in different countries, I haven't experienced that, but maybe for someone who's grown up in the same town with the same people, it is an interesting opportunity to just learn more about the world.
And there is one word of caution. You were already saying you're not really sold on to the idea, but there is a word of caution that Namrata in fact pointed out to me at the end. She said it's a lot of work. So being Indian, and we have this popular saying where we think guest is God. So we treat them with that much respect and care. She said that it's not something you can do if only the bride and groom are on board. She thought that it was a lot of coordination, and the result of all that coordination was on their big day. A day when you'd be absolutely unavailable because you'd be ready, getting dressed, looking pretty, and being on the stage, basically taking gifts and shaking hands with guests, right? So she said they couldn't have done it if they didn't have friends, family, and cousins on board, and they'd actually nominated a cousin to take care of the whole organizing and meeting the foreign tourists and making them feel comfortable. So it's not for everyone. It wasn't for the foreign tourists. It may not be for many Indians as well, but it's definitely an idea to think about. Think really hard. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video we put out. And if you haven't yet, go on our Facebook page or on the BBC News website and check it out. Now, thank you.